on the calendar, if you like, in Auckland, November 29. We're opening up now. It's not too dissimilar from what you guys were saying. I think you had a December one.
Well, I think it's not really a freedom day, actually, to be blunt. It's a date, and that's a somewhat step forward, but I think moving from alert levels to traffic lights, a whole lot of aspects such as international travel and MIQ not dealt with. I think it's, to be slightly blunt, it's disingenuous to call it a freedom day. National's position's been a lot clearer, 85% for the 1st of December, and things open back up.
So fundamentally, what is your issue with the government's approach? What's wrong with it?
It's unclear and not certain. When you talk to certainly local businesses, for example, around mine, electorates, they want certainty. They want to be able to open back up. They want to be able to trade, to be able to fund for their businesses and families, and they just don't know. And even yesterday's announcement is still drip feeding information out. And just put yourself on the shoes of a bar owner or a barber, hairdresser. How do you plan? How do you tell your staff what's going to happen? What supplies to bring in with the uncertainty that the government's creating?
It's pretty hard to give certainty in a global pandemic, which has killed like 5 million people in the world, though, eh?
You could use that argument in the early days, but actually we look around the world now and a number of countries have provided certainty that sets very clear, outlines very clear dates and a pathway to it. We are getting week by week, we're announcing that there will be an announcement, and that's just not the way to run a country out of steps, all businesses.
John, Tommy here, are you comfortable with the loosening of restrictions?
Well, of course I can't be comfortable, but I understand the rollout has achieved the results for mainstream New Zealand. I think that's a great thing, right? We just in final way back over 100,000 non-Māori in that regard. That's cool, and I think it's a great outcome for Tandem Makoto. Record and perfect storm. The way the rollout works was engineered wrong in Hauora in terms of onboarding us by way of invitation. And we're whānau based, and so when you get an aged population, 70% of Māori are only 45. Before the pandemic, we were 20 percentage points behind on every immunisation program. And Mr. Bloomfield has maintained it. Now, our biggest problem is, for good reason, we're going to drop the gate. And Aucklanders, on the 28th of November, will be able to go out of Auckland to south and up north. And that's unfair, knowingly unfair, because there was a trending of those things that actually stop us from actually information to list our vaccinations for Christmas. And this is an unacceptable conduct. And what we want to know is who's in charge of the government? Is it an unelected bureaucrat or in regards to Māori vaccination rate? You should turn on up north now to pass 100.
Yeah, well, tell us about that.
78,
because we had to draw all our results of our sampling together, and we're still not there
80,
on Māori vaccination rate heaps down here.
81,
We've had to go north. It's the worst
82,
performing DHB outside
83,
Taranaki Lake
84,
and Bay of Plenty.
85,
I'll take you on a little bit of a
86,
side road for a second. You've just been through Hana. I understand that there's been
88,
protests, so is there an anti-vax
89,
mob up there?
90,
I'm just getting
91,
Yeah, I know it's about 10,
92,
dollar mob.
93,
out here waving the flag, but
94,
I didn't see them.
85,
not even got the
96,
all right.
Yeah.
97,
Motivate,
98,
can you answer that question? Do you think
99,
that Ashley Bloomfield has been given
100,
too much power in this
101,
and not enough attention has
102,
been paid to John Tommy?
103, 104,
They should not have taken a high court
105,
case for the ministry
106,
and government
107,
to give that data directly
108,
with our whānau ora, with
109,
our Māori providers. So Tāmaki Makaurau
110,
just past weekend absolutely
111,
but been working so hard for the
112,
whole lockdown, the whole COVID
113,
virus especially
114,
since we started, losing the
150.
restrictions and if Labour is going to
Thank
take
you,
the
Lord.
risk of COVID-19
115
into vulnerable communities, then
in
must make
5
sure
minutes.
that measures are put in place
Wow.
and that includes getting that data to increase the Māori vaccination rate directly to Māori and worker and community health providers to do that very focused and urgent work. We were always clear as
This
a
is
team.
good.
We would have preferred
Wow.
to have seen the elimination strategy stay for longer and taken that independent health advice, including from people like Dr. Sue Pringle and Te Oku Whakawhakapapa Urupā, who said, let's at least get 90% of eligible Māori vaccination rates increased before we start to see more movement, more indoor retail movement. Let's at least have a collective health and wellbeing approach and some leadership to say, everyone hold on, including small and medium and local businesses. We will get support. Governments have the levers to get support to keep people holding that front line while we get a little bit more equity approach in our vaccination work, especially Māori and others who are at risk, before we start to loosen it.
All right, Simon O'Connor, what's your response to those concerns?
Oh, I think around the data sharing, it's a no-brainer. I mean, we should be trying to cooperate as much as possible. And obviously now this is back before the court, so there's a limit there. I would challenge Marama on the businesses holding on. I think they are by their fingertips. There isn't enough government support. I think it's becoming a massive cost itself, but a great challenge, and let's not take away from what the government has to balance. As there's health concerns, there's business concerns, there's social concerns, there's familial concerns, so they've got to weigh all of that up. I suppose national encouragement is that they must all be considered. So absolutely we want to see Māori and Pacifica vaccination rates higher, but we also want, the mums and dads running their small businesses to be able to go back and run their businesses, at the same time paying their bills, look after their kids. That all has to be balanced together.
Yeah, John Tomahiri, well, hang on, I'll come back to you, mate. I'm just going to go to John for a second. He's right, isn't he, John Tomahiri, that it's not just a one-way street, is it? You've got all these other barriers, you've got mental health issues, you've got people not being able to get into hospital, all sorts of other conditions. So it's not just COVID at all costs, is it?
No, look, I think we're breaking through this, right? And it's no longer about science and expertise. The previous spokesperson that you just had on sort of identified that we're now into political decision-making territory, full stop. And I think Simon and Marama will agree with that, no doubt about it. So we're in a perfect storm, and I'm talking about the Māori and the vulnerable community, not of our making, but we'll be stigmatised for it. They're going to have to allow us out of Tamaki Makaurau, no doubt, and they've dropped down to 2 up north against immediate advice. And so that's because larger populations, not of Māori descent, have got through the gates in the eye of the needle. And so we find ourselves in a difficult position, and we understand why businesses must open and why Tamaki Makaurau must open. But it's unfair, but it's still deeply unfair and was premeditated. And going into 2022 and 2023, we will re-examine exactly what went on here, and it's disgraceful.
Yeah. Final word to you, Marama.
Thanks, but no, it was just to reiterate that I talked about, okay, Labour have made, hello?
You're still there. I think I've probably lost one of the other guys, but you have the floor, or the mic.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was just to reiterate that, now that Labour has decided to ease restrictions, the support that we need now includes to small and medium local businesses. Nobody wants their hairdressers to be out of the community once we fully open back up. And I really understand that. Governments have got the levers to get those supports, not just to small and medium local businesses, to be able to hold that line for a few more weeks, to low-income families to make sure they've got enough income to feed and